is
If you
she?
think danger
I
only
don't know.
comes
I've
from
looked
strangers,
everywhere.
this story will change your mind. On a quiet farm, Huyen's ordinary day shatters when her father-in-law arrives unexpectedly, determined to take little Maya with him. His forced smiles hide intentions far darker than family affection. As Huyen senses something wrong, she gently refuses, only to discover he is secretly watching, waiting for a chance to abduct the child. His plan fails today, but he isn't finished. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more gripping stories. Now, let's step into the tense world of Huyen and Maya. The morning sun lay soft and golden across Huyen's small farm, catching on the rows of vegetable beds and the wooden fence that circled the property like a protective arm. She had been tending to the herb garden, hands deep in the soil, when the low rumble of an engine rolled onto the quiet path leading to her home. It was a sound she recognized immediately, heavy, old, and unmistakably belonging to her father-in-law's pickup truck. A knot tightened in her stomach even before the vehicle came into full view. He rarely visited unannounced, and when he did, it was never without a reason. The truck stopped in a cloud of dust, and the old man stepped out, his expression unreadable under the shadow of his hat. "I came to pick up little Maya," he announced without greeting, as though it had already been agreed upon. His voice carried a firmness that made Huyen instinctively straighten her back. She wiped her hands on her apron, trying to hide the flicker of unease rising in her chest. Maya wasn't home today. She had arranged for her daughter to spend the morning at the neighbor's house, learning simple melodies on a small wooden xylophone. The change of routine had felt harmless then, but now it unsettled her. She hesitated before answering, watching her father-in-law's eyes dart around the yard, searching, expecting the small figure of his granddaughter to run out at any moment. "Maya isn't here today," Huyen said carefully, keeping her tone calm, almost apologetic. His brows narrowed ever so slightly. It was a small shift, but enough for Huyen to feel a cold thread run along her spine. He seemed annoyed, surprised, or something else entirely, something she couldn't yet name. She had always tried to convince herself that his sudden interest in taking Maya for overnight visits was simply the affection of an aging man wanting time with his only grandchild. But the urgency in his voice today felt different, too sharp, too expectant, and she couldn't ignore the quiet instinct tugging at her, a mother's instinct that something was off. As he looked around the farm with a growing impatience, Huyen felt her pulse quicken. Why today of all days? Why arrive without calling? Why insist on taking Maya when he knew Huyen rarely allowed her to go without supervision? The questions tangled together in her mind, forming a thick fog of worry. She forced a polite smile, but her heart beat with the uneasy sense that this unexpected visit was more than just a grandfather's whim, and that whatever motive had brought him here was something she had yet to fully understand. Huyen steadied her breath, willing her voice to stay even as she invited her father-in-law to sit for tea, an attempt to soften the tension she felt gathering in the air. But he declined with a curt shake of his head, dust clinging to the cuffs of his trousers as he paced a slow circle across the front yard. "Another day, then," he said, though his words were flat, without the warmth one might expect from a disappointed grandfather. His eyes didn't match the tone either. Instead, they carried a glint of irritation, or perhaps calculation, as though he were rearranging something in his mind. Huyen couldn't help but notice how long his gaze lingered on the doorframe, the windows, the open gate, each detail studied, as if he were memorizing the farm's layout. A fresh ripple of unease swept over her. Knowing she had to tread carefully, Huyen chose her next words with deliberate gentleness. "If you let me know earlier next time, I can make sure Maya is ready," she offered, hoping to anchor the moment back into politeness, routine, normalcy. But instead of easing, his shoulders stiffened. For a fleeting second, his expression cracked, revealing something sharper beneath: frustration, maybe even disappointment at having missed an opportunity. The realization left Huyen with an uncomfortable dryness in her throat. She had rejected his requests before, of course, but he had never come unannounced like this, with such insistence. Why today? What had he planned? Then, just as quickly, his demeanor shifted. He straightened, forced a smile, and nodded as though he had regained his composure. "You're right," he said lightly. "I should call ahead. No trouble today." But the ease in his voice was too practiced, too smooth, the kind of ease that felt like a curtain being drawn over something hidden. Huyen sensed it clearly. He wasn't leaving because he accepted the situation. He was leaving because he intended to return on his own terms. He stepped back toward his truck, but his movements were slower this time, almost casual. He scanned the property once more, pretending to admire the crops, the orchard, the barn. Huyen felt a prickle at the back of her neck. It wasn't admiration, it was surveillance, mapping, calculating. The realization struck her with such clarity that she nearly lost her ability to speak. Instinctively, she crossed her arms over her chest, as though shielding herself from the invisible hostility radiating from him. At last, he nodded goodbye, climbed into the truck, and pulled onto the dirt road. But instead of driving away fully, he paused at the bend, engine idling, as if waiting for something, listening, watching. And right then, Huyen understood. Though he was leaving the farm, he had not abandoned his intent. His silence was not retreat. It was promise, a chilling promise that he would return, and that next time, he expected Maya to be within reach. The moment the truck disappeared behind the curve of the road, Huyen exhaled shakily, unaware until then that she had been holding her breath. The yard felt too quiet, the air too still, as if the very farm were bracing itself alongside her. Something in her gut told her she wasn't imagining it. The way he had hovered, the strange precision in his gaze, the tension beneath his forced smile. The thought of Maya, bright, gentle Maya, being taken from her sent a sharp panic flaring through her chest. She hurried across the yard, shutting the gate with trembling hands, then locked the front door, though the afternoon sun was still high in the sky. She tried to shake off the fear, telling herself she might simply be overreacting, but the uneasy hum beneath her ribs refused to settle. And when her neighbor arrived 30 minutes later to return Maya, the child skipping happily at her side, Huyen felt the first real wave of relief wash through her. She scooped Maya into her arms, holding her a little too tightly. "Mama, you're squeezing me!" The girl giggled, but her laughter only deepened Huyen's dread. What if she hadn't been here? What if her father-in-law had come only 10 minutes later? As the neighbor chatted casually about the music lesson, she paused suddenly and lowered her voice. "I almost forgot to tell you," she said. "After we heard you had a visitor, I noticed a truck parked near the old eucalyptus trees for a long time. It was strange. It didn't move for ages. I thought maybe it broke down, but when I got closer, it drove off." She shrugged, unaware of how her words sent a cold shock through Huyen's body. The eucalyptus trees were less than 100 meters from the farm's side gate, close enough to watch the house without being seen. Huyen's heart pounded violently. There was no doubt anymore. He hadn't left. He had waited for Maya to return, waited for a moment when the child might wander where he could reach her without interference. The realization was so chilling that she had to steady herself against the kitchen counter once they were inside. That night, after putting Maya to bed, Huyen sat alone at the dining table, the dim light casting long shadows along the wooden walls. She replayed every detail: his too calm voice, the lingering looks, the truck hidden among the trees. The puzzle pieces fit together with terrifying clarity. She knew he would try again. Perhaps not tomorrow, perhaps not next week, but a man with a plan did not abandon it so easily. And yet, as fear twisted through her, another feeling slowly rose to meet it: resolve. If he intended to take Maya, he would find that Huyen was no longer the quiet daughter-in-law he expected. She had seen his intent, she had felt his danger, and now she was ready. She would protect her daughter with everything she had. Whether he returned in the shadows or in daylight, one thing was certain: his plot had failed today, and if Huyen had her way, it would fail every day after.